Shivdasani is a best-selling author, sought-after dynamic speaker, and transformational coach. At age 22, after a night of college partying, Vik had an accident and fell off a third-floor balcony. He was left a paraplegic. This horrific accident and the never-ending challenges that followed sparked a seeker's journey to understand what it takes to become the best versions of ourselves despite our circumstances. Vik, as you will soon see, captivates audiences with his humorous take on life and shares powerful, actionable takeaways. So, hey, Vik, roll with it.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for being part of the organization and for introducing me to be here today with you guys. As y'all heard, my name is Vik Shivdasani. You heard that I had an accident. So just to give you a visual, I am a dude in a wheelchair, all right? Now, I like to tell people that I'm not really disabled. I'm just really lazy. Because people always want to come up to me and be like, hey man, what happened? Why are you in a wheelchair? And my favorite are like the old Indian people who are like, so, what is wrong with you? I'm like, man, what the hell is wrong with you? You got no manners? Geez, nothing's wrong with me. I just got tired and want to sit down. And then I had a lazy idea to add wheels. And now I can bring my own chair everywhere. It's genius. One time this dude came up to me and was like, hey man, what's your handicap? I was like, what? I don't know. I don't even play golf. But seriously though, I used to walk and now I've been in a wheelchair for almost 16 years. On July 29, 2006, at around 3 in the morning, I fell off my third floor apartment balcony after a night of partying. Oops. I was just 22 years old, on the verge of graduating college. I had to have overnight surgery to repair my fractured spine. The doctors told me that my spinal cord was significantly damaged and that I was now paraplegic and had to use a wheelchair to get around. This did not fit with any vision or idea I had for my life. I thought I was going to graduate and get a job like everyone else, but now I had to learn how to live my life in a wheelchair, and I couldn't accept it. I spent the next 3 years doing a lot of research and traveling all around the world to try out all sorts of alternative treatments to help heal me, but nothing worked. Failed treatment after failed treatment, I kept persisting because I thought the more I tried, God would eventually reward me for my efforts. When my efforts became exhausted, I felt defeated. I contemplated if life wasn't even worth living anymore. I felt like I was the definition of a fuck up and didn't know how to move forward. And it wasn't until I got advice from a spiritual guru in India in 2009 that forever changed the course of my life. And she asked me this question. She said, if this is your life right now, how are you going to live it? It was such a simple question. And at the time, I was depressed and didn't think it was possible for me to live my life like this. My mind wouldn't even entertain the possibility. But this question changed my perspective to accept my situation as it was and live my life from there despite the fear that I had. I faced challenge after challenge to learn how to be independent and live on my own, work at a job, and play wheelchair basketball. And with every challenge I overcame, I realized that I would only know I could do something once I developed the courage to go for it. And in knowing this, I understood that fear is the only thing that can hold me back if I let it. I define fear as the limitations that I put on myself about what I think can be possible. It's comprised of two elements, regret and worry. To regret means to fear something that's already happened. To worry means to fear something that may or may not happen in the future. So it became evident to me that if I wasn't regretting the past or worrying about the future, I'd be living in the moment. And to live in the moment then is to be free of fear. I don't have fear when I'm having fun because I'm just thinking about the moment. When I'm having fun, I'm doing something I love. And I'm doing something I love, I'm happy. Hence, when I live in the moment, I am happy. This is basically my way of life, y'all. I mean, it's just how I roll. I wasn't going to let my wheelchair stop me from living life. And in the summer of 2010, I went on a family trip to Universal Studios. And after my accident, I didn't know if I could ride a roller coaster again, but I decided to try it out at the Universal Studios. And it turned out to be better than I expected. Not only did we ride every thrilling ride Universal Studios had to offer, but I did it in record time because I was able to cut in front of every line thanks to my wheelchair. There are perks to the chair, y'all. A year later, in July 2011, I celebrated my 5th wheelchair anniversary. And on that day, I said, 5 years ago, I fell off a balcony. Today, I'm going to fall off a plane. And I went skydiving for the first and only time so far. And it was amazing. With this mentality, I was able to achieve many things. I performed sit-down, not stand-up comedy, played for a nationally recognized wheelchair basketball team, worked in real estate, and even gave inspirational speeches. I thought I had life figured out until I was met with 3 back-to-back health issues from 2014 to 2017 that left me bedridden for 3 to 6 months at a time. I developed what are known as pressure sores, or wounds on my bottom because of the lack of sensation that I had, and infections that made me face a lot of my deep, dark emotions. I realized that I had learned to suppress my emotions from a very young age. Like many of us, and when you're stuck in bed for months at a time, it's hard to distract yourself from the emotions that are coming up. I had all sorts of emotions coming up around my childhood, my accident, and everything in between. This period led me to meditating regularly, journaling, and doing everything I could to release these stored emotions. None of us process our emotions fully. And so we tend to feel our pain to a certain degree and don't go further than that. We tend to feel our joy to a certain degree and don't go further than that. And the result of this is what I call emotional constipation, where we suppress a lot of our feelings and these emotions get stored in our body and we suppress them because they're painful. We don't want to feel them. But I realized that feeling these feelings were necessary for me to have not only regular emotional movements, but to be truly happy, because those stored emotions actually drove a lot of my negative thoughts and emotions. Accepting our moments and overcoming fears, I explained before, were important pieces for me to live a fulfilled and happy life. But now, after this, I realized that it was also really important to release the emotions and to learn how to feel my feelings entirely. And so ultimately, my accident has sparked the seeker's journey in me to understand what it takes to become the best version of ourselves, despite our circumstances. Over the years, I've learned from many teachers like Dr. Wayne Dyer, Anita Murjani, and Dr. Joe Dispenza, to name a few. And I've chronicled my journey and the lessons I've learned in a book called Rolling With It, Lessons Learned While Sitting Down. Book me for your next event, get my book, and subscribe to my newsletter on my website, rollingwithvik.com. Thank you very much, everyone.
Let's hear it for Vik Shivdasani. Oh my goodness, you have blown away everybody here. And I thank you for your humor, your courage, and your persistence in knowing that being present is the key. You are such an inspiration, my friend. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I had fun doing that.
Yeah, it was fantastic, fantastic. Be sure you check the chat, Vik, because all kinds of beautiful connections and appreciation for who you are and how you show up. And I love it. So we're going to keep on rolling, I guess. Yeah. What we got to do, just keep on rolling, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Vik. I appreciate you.